Hi, I'm Grace Bartunik, and today I will be giving you a quick presentation about the occupational history and profile of Jake, and talking about the doing, being, becoming, belonging that Wilcox 1998 and 2007 talked about. So quickly, just to cover the doing, being, becoming, belonging. So the doing is the actual engagement of doing an activity or an occupation. It's the physical part of it, and the participation part. The being is the feeling and the state that you are in when you are engaged in the occupation. It's being in the being in the moment. The becoming is the future goals and future mindset that that a person has. So the present state of what you are doing and the level you are doing an occupation at, and the feelings and the mindset associated with that occupation influences what you want to become. And then belonging is the relationship, the relationships and the interconnectedness that come along with doing certain occupations. So today I'm going to talk about Jake's occupations. So first I'm going to talk about hockey. Hockey was something he was exposed to as a child. He had two older brothers who were 5 years older, and they were identical twins, and so he didn't ever really feel like he was super close with them until he found hockey. Because of the age gap and because they were twins, it was hard to feel like you were a close sibling when your siblings are literally shared the womb. And so hockey was a way to bridge that gap so that they could play together. It gave him a sense of belonging in that sense, and it gave him a sense of belonging with finding friends and the relationships that accrued with hockey. When he was doing hockey, he did it all the way through college. He started when he was 6, and the feelings that he noted was that he felt completely in control of himself, and he felt like he was really good at it, and it was something that he excelled at. He found a lot of happiness and enjoyment in this occupation that's both productive but leisure, and it taught him teamwork, hard work ethic, both of it, his brothers and sports. He did various other sports like leisure golf, football, and trap shooting, where he also grew as a person in those sports too. And then just like many typical young adults or just people in America, he was a full-time student from the pre-K through 12. And when he got to the end of his high school career, he had a decision to make of if he was going to attend college. He thought back to when he was a child and when he took his first vacation and flew on a plane, and he decided that he wanted to be a pilot. So he chose to go to the University of North Dakota, or UND, which has a very expansive aviation program. And going back to also when he was a child, he was diagnosed with anxiety as a kid, but also ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and he was medicated with a medication called Adderall. And this is important because when it comes to be in aviation, the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, is the governing body to all aviation, and they set the standards and guidelines in the U.S., and they don't allow most any medication. And so he had to decide if he was going to try to continue on with flying and paying a lot of money to do all these tests, or wait a certain duration without being on the medication. He chose to do the tests, but the documents got lost, and he never was able to continue that. So he was no longer doing the occupation that he originally wanted to do. He came to college with the plan to become a pilot, and it left him to be very depleted, very lost with what he was going to do. And so he was an undeclared major for a little while. And then he switched to various other majors throughout his time at UND before finally deciding on psychology. And psychology wasn't what he really wanted to do. It was an interest of his, but it wasn't who he wanted to become. He does not want to be an individual necessarily working in the psychology department or field. But yeah, so, and we'll come back to this, but circling back to the beginning of his college days, he, like anyone else who's ever been to college, was looking for that sense of belonging. And when you're a freshman starting out, everyone's kind of in the same boat, and you're trying to figure it out and trying to find that friend group. And he, now with this schedule that was no longer as structured and strict as it was in high school with all the sports, he had a lot of free time. So he chose to try to find that sense of belonging in the UND community by going and joining Greek life, specifically the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. He was heavily involved in this fraternity throughout his whole entire undergrad career. And it taught him, it reinforced that hard work ethic. Their pillars are courage, it's faith, it's power, and it's trust. And in their mission statement, they really hold commitment and sticking to your word as high values in the fraternity. And Jake was a leader in this fraternity. He became a big brother to a little brother in the fraternity, which is the bigs and littles, and it's just like a mentorship relationship. He became a financial advisor for the fraternity, and then eventually a ritualist, which their job is to help with the initiation and all the rituals of the fraternity, and to uphold those traditions of the frat. And he found a sense of belonging here because it was a bunch of men who had the same pursuit of scholastic achievement, of success, of being a volunteer. And this is where he felt like he really became a man, was through this fraternity. And so doing the volunteering activities and the meetings and being involved and feeling like, he was fulfilling a role that, a leadership role, really gave him value in the fraternity. And so he graduated. He chose to stick with psychology and graduate from undergrad so that he could follow his, or travel and move down to the Las Vegas area with his girlfriend. And he currently works as a Lowe's receiving and stocking position. And he doesn't really use a lot of leisure activities or leisure occupations. He has said that he feels like he's behind in life, and that he's not being used to his full potential, and he's experiencing like underemployment with being at Lowe's. He's not using the degree he achieved, but he also is doesn't feel like he belongs down here. There's no family down here, and he's not involved in any leisure activities where he can make those social ties and feel like he belongs down here. And so his being has just been depleted because the things that he's been doing aren't fulfilling, being meaningful and purposeful for him. And so he has expressed that he wants to get into fly fishing, potentially return to hockey, and he really enjoys golf. So there's a lot of potential there, and he wants to go back to education and try to become a pilot once again. And so his doing, being, becoming, belonging has really shaped his life experience. And this is something that changes throughout the lifespan. It's not a constant thing. And there's different levels at each step, and there's different levels within each occupation. And they all make up this big occupational profile that is who they are. So yeah, thank you for watching.